Hi, I'm Rohan Trivedi, and this is Siobhan Chalky. We both go to Plano Senior High School, and we're public forum debaters. Now, you may be watching this video because you're going to have to go to a tournament on the weekend and judge public forum debate for your student that's competing at the tournament. Now, public forum debate may seem complex and very complicated, but we're going to make everything simple for you and show you how easy it is to judge a public forum debate round. So first, when you go to the tournament, you must find the ballot table. The ballot table is a table where they'll have all the ballots laid out for you to take and go to the room. When you approach the ballot table, ask the person managing the ballot table for your ballot. They'll have your name on it, and the ballot will look something like this. Now, on this, once you receive your ballot, you can ask the person working the ballot table as to where your room is. When you go to your room, there will be a team waiting outside, or the team may not even be there yet. So first, when you go to the room, just open the door, turn on the lights. If the door is locked, you can ask the person at the ballot table to come unlock it. And once you're inside the room, and the students are inside as well, they'll set up their own laptops, and they'll set up any files that they have, and they'll get organized to let the round begin. The first thing that the students will do is they'll perform a coin toss. One team will flip the coin, and the other team will call heads or tails. The team that wins the coin toss will have one of two options. They can either choose to go pro or con, or they can choose to speak first or second as a team. Now, let's say Team A chooses to go pro. Team B has the option to either go first or second. After they decide this, simply hand the ballot to the students and ask them to fill out the ballot according to their appropriate side.
Now we'll discuss what you should look for in the round and how to decide who has won. So one of the most important things to keep in mind is that as you progress and judge more rounds, you'll figure out things that you should be looking for. But initially, there are going to be a few important things that you need to keep in mind. So first is going to be confidence. You always want to see which team is displaying a higher level of confidence and which team has more material ready for the topic. You also want to keep in mind which team is being the most professional. Oftentimes, teams will be very rude in crossfire or their speeches, and you want to make sure you note that down on the ballot if that's the case. Additionally, you also need to look for which team is better prepared for the topic. If one team shows a lack of information or a lack of knowledge on the topic, then that also needs to play a significant role in deciding who's going to be the winner. You want to give the win of the ballot to the team that has better prepared information on the topic, because that's the team that's going to be able to debate the topic further into the tournament. When you're making a decision on the round, you also want to remember how the round played out in the big picture. Typically, in the rebuttal speeches, the teams are going to be making refutations to the opposite side. You want to keep in mind these refutations that are made, and you also want to keep in mind how effective these refutations were. Typically, teams aren't going to make refutations in some of the rebuttal speeches, and that needs to be noted down on the ballot.
Key thing to look for in the round is evidence. Evidence is a very debated issue and very heated topic among the debate community. So when you're judging the round, make sure that when Team A is speaking about a topic and Team B is speaking about the topic, both of their arguments are warranted or are backed by pieces of evidence that they're talking about in the round. If the pieces of evidence are not given or you're confused on pieces of evidence, you as the judge always have the right to ask for the piece of evidence that is being disputed at the end of the round. At this time, you can read the evidence for yourself and then make a clear determination about who won. Additionally, in the final foci of these debates, they're going to summarize the speech down into a few key points. Remember, these are the key issues that the teams want you to take in mind. If the teams do not mention a certain issue in this final speech, you should not take that into account when making your decision. Simply use the arguments that the teams have brought up in this final speech.
Finally, one of the most important things that you should keep in mind when you're deciding who has won is the fact that you don't want your own opinions to influence your decision in the round. For example, if there was a topic on deciding America's foreign policy, you don't want your own opinions about America's foreign policy to influence your decision in the specific round. Remember to only use the arguments that the debaters present to you in that specific round in deciding who you're going to give the ballot to for that specific round.
So, starting off by looking at the ballot, there's always a section for the resolution. You can ask the children at the beginning of the round what the resolution is. Simply just write the resolution and you'll be ready to go. Once the coin toss has occurred, you can ask the students to fill out their respective sides. For example, on this ballot, Team NNPA is con and speaking first. That is why they're on the right side of the ballot. And Team JJSN is speaking second and going pro. This is why they're on the left side of the ballot. This makes it easier for you as the judge to figure out who is speaking first and who is speaking second. Next, there's a line at the bottom for speaker points. On some ballots, you may have team speaker points, but on other ballots, you may have individual speaker points. In this case, you have a team speaker points. Rank the team with the correct number of speaker points. You can either give them from 20 to a 30. Though the ballot gives a range from 20 to a 30, it's respectful in the debate community to give anywhere from a 26 to a 30. Unless the team does very poorly in the round, do not resort to giving numbers from 20 to 25. Most of the numbers should be around 26 to 30. Now, when you have two separate lines for speaker 1 and speaker 2 in this speaker point section, you can give each of the speakers their separate cumulative points. But in this case, since there's a team point section, you give a number based on how well the team performed as a whole. Next, there's a line that says who won and what side they were. We'll come back to this in a minute. First, let's look at the comments you should write for debaters. Now, this bottom section of the ballot should almost nearly be filled out by the end of the round. Don't worry, you can take a few minutes after the round is completed and still fill out the ballot. On the right side, you should write comments about what the con team that is speaking first, many things that they have done during the round, or any questions that you had while they were performing the round. Now, on the left side, you can write comments and descriptions or questions for the pro team or the team that spoke second. Now remember that the pro and con may be flipped according to each round, but we're just looking at the pro and con in this situation for this specific ballot. Now, when writing comments, you may have many questions during the round. Remember that you're not supposed to intervene as the judge while the students are debating. You can write down your questions here, or you can write any other comments here to make sure that the debaters know what to work on and other things that they should look towards in the future. Next, we have the speaking order. When coming to speaking order, there's going to be two people on each team. The team that is speaking first, their first speaker will stand up and give a constructive case. This speech will outline the major arguments that they will be debating in today's debate. Next, the team that is speaking second, their first speaker will stand up and then give their own constructive case, the main arguments that they will be arguing throughout the round. Next, we have the first speaker crossfires. This is when the first speaker from both teams will stand up and have a questioning period where they'll ask each other questions. This may get a little heated if the crossfire gets a little too heated and people are arguing with each other a lot and there's no respect being shown between the teams. You can interrupt and ask them to settle down or settle down in the crossfire. Next, we have the speeches from Speaker 3 and Speaker 4. Both of these speeches will be rebuttal speeches or refutation speeches that are refuting the first and second speaker's speeches. Now, the third speaker will speak from the first team, and the fourth speaker will speak from the fourth team. After these two speeches, you will have the third and fourth speaker crossfire, or the second crossfire. In the second crossfire, it is the same thing as the first crossfire, but now the third and fourth speakers will be asking each other questions. Now it comes to the smaller speeches. We're going to have a 2-minute speech for Speaker 1 summary and a 2-minute speech for Speaker 2 summary. In the speaker summaries, they will be narrowing down the arguments in the round, and telling you what are the important things that you should look towards as to why they're winning the round. And finally, we have the Grand Crossfire. In the Grand Crossfire, all four of the debaters will be talking together and giving you and asking each other questions, just clearing things up in the round. Finally, you have the last two speeches, the final focus from Speaker 3 and the final focus from Speaker 4. These two speeches are aimed towards giving you voters or reasons why the respective team has won the round. And each team will have 2 minutes of prep time, which they can use anytime throughout the round to prepare with their partners. Lastly, you must write a reason for decision at the bottom of the ballot to let the teams know why you voted the way you did. Always remember to write your signature at the bottom, and do not forget to always fill out this line. You must write the code for the team that has won, and be sure to circle the correct side. Always double check with the teams that the proper side is listed and the proper speaking order is listed. So today, you might be a little more prepared for what to expect at a debate tournament and how to judge a PF round. It may not seem that complicated, but remember that you're the judge in the round and that the teams are depending on you to make the correct decision.